Now we will learn about Visio Layers. So let us understand what are Visio Layers. If you see here, and if I click here layer properties, you can see connector, flowchart, number 9, visible, print, and then there are these layer properties, number, visible, print, active, lock, snap, glue, color, etc. So let us open a different page. I add a new page. Please concentrate. Page 1, 2, and 3 are already there. I am adding a new page, which is page 4. Here, if I check layer properties again, and you can see layer properties, please see nothing is provided here. So one thing is clear, that layer property is the characteristic of a Visio page and not a Visio file. So what happens whenever we drag and drop a shape from the shape stencil to the diagramming area, Visio assigns these shapes to a pre-specified layer, which you can see here. I have dragged and dropped the start shape here, layer properties, if you can see. Within the layer properties, there is now number 1 has come up, and you can see these properties are visible, print, active, lock, snap, glue, and color. If I uncheck this and if I do apply, you can see all my shapes which belong to the flowchart layer, even if I put them here, they are not to be seen. But in the layer properties, there are 3 shapes. I have made them invisible. Moment I make them visible, I do apply, they are present here. So this is the visible property. Before that is the number. You can count this number to be 3. Sometimes for some shapes, you see, when you will see, this number may not add up linearly, because there may be a complex shape which Visio might have created combining 2 shapes or multiple shapes. So this number, even if you drag and drop one shape on the diagramming area, this number may increase by more than 1. So don't worry about that. You will get to understand. But mostly, if you drag and drop a shape, something like this number will increase by 1. See here, layer properties 4, visible. And now you can see layer properties here, visible, print. Print is basically, if I uncheck this, all these shapes which belong to the flowchart layer will not be printed. First, allow me to add some connectors. Layer properties. Now you can see there are 3 connectors also, which are visible, print, active, lock, snap, glue, and color. So if I make them invisible, you can see what happens. Connectors are not to be seen. Visible, apply. Now what about print? If I uncheck a particular layer, let us say I uncheck the connector layer and do the apply, okay. Now if you see the print preview, file, print. In the print preview, you can see that the connectors are not to be shown because I have unchecked that layer. Layer properties, print. So visible, print, and number is clear to you. Now color. You can even change the color of the layer. For connectors, this is a good behavior. Say for example, something like this. If I add a color and let us say I choose some other color, something like red, and do apply, you can see this red color has come up, but for some reason this shape layer has also gone out, but this is how it behaves. And if I uncheck the color and do the apply, okay, it remains like this, only it reverts to the original color. So this is the color. Then we need to understand these areas: active, lock, snap, and glue. We can lock a layer. Let's say I am locking the connector layer. Apply and OK. See what happens. I am trying to add a connector here. Attempting to change one or more locked layers. On the Home tab in the Editing group, click Layers and then Layer Properties to unlock the layer before repeating this action. So Home tab, Editing group, Layers, I have to unlock this. I am not locking. So this is the effect of locking a layer. Sometimes we lock a layer, or we may lock the diagram so that you see no one is able to change that. Now this lock and active, they work like this. If you lock, then active won't function, and if you make this active, lock won't function. Okay. Then what is this snap and glue? Now to understand snap and glue, we need to understand how do we connect Visio shapes with each other. This is an important concept. How do we connect Visio shapes with each other? I add a new page. I am dragging and dropping two shapes here. See here. If you could see, they already get connected with each other because my connector tool was activated. So if I do not want this next time, for the next shape, I must click the pointer tool. Now the pointer tool is activated, and if I drag and drop a shape here, it will not have an automatic connection. So I am deleting this, and deliberately I am, you see, increasing the size of these two shapes so that you are able to understand what is being done. See here. Now I am to connect these two shapes. I will connect these using connectors. What I did, this is the connection point. From the connection point, I am bringing the connector near. And what it says, glue to the connection point. Glue to the connection point. This glue is also mentioned here if you can see. Glue is checked. Glue is checked. So what is glue to the connection point? Glue to the connection point is, I will again show it to you. I am bringing a connector. As the connector comes near to the connector, these connection points lighten up. This is controlled from here in the view tab and connection points. If I uncheck this, please see, even if I bring the connector near to the shape, the connection points do not lighten up. And if I click this, and if I bring the connector near to the connection point, the connection points will, I will show it to you again. So you can see connection points are checked. I am deleting this. You can see connection points lighten up. So this is controlled from here, view tab, connection point. I bring my connector, it shows glue to the connection point. Moment I bring my connector near to the other connection point, it shows glue to the connection point. What does this mean? This means that if I move this shape anywhere if I move this, the two shapes are connected via the connector and they are glued at the connection point at which the connection was made. I hope you can understand now what is meant by glue to the connection point. Two shapes are glued with each other via a connector at the point which was the original one. This is glue to the connection point. This is also known as the Visio static connection. Glue to connection point or Visio static connection. Another one is Visio dynamic connection. I am dragging and dropping two more shapes here. This time I will change the color of the shape so that you can differentiate. So from the home tab, fill, I will change the fill. I will make it this, and I will make the fill here again. Make these shapes a bit more larger. I will go to the connector tool. I am bringing this connector near to the shape. And as I bring it near to the shape, what I will do, I will not connect to the connection point. I will drag my connector over to the shape. As I drag my connector over to the shape, it shows glue to shape. If you can see this, I am dragging my connector over to the shape. This green line comes around the shape and it shows glue to the shape. Glue to the shape is also known as the Visio dynamic connection, glue to shape, or Visio dynamic connection. I will increase the font size so that you can read. See here how dynamic connection or glue to shape behave. First, what I will do, This is the connector tool. I will press Ctrl+1 so that it comes to the pointer tool. Can you see how the Visio dynamic connection behaves? So the shapes are glued with each other. They are not glued at the original connection point. So this is Visio dynamic connection. Coming back to the layers. While we were making all these connections, this glue was checked. What if we uncheck this glue on the, say for example, on the flowchart layer, apply and OK. Let's see what happens. The behavior of these connectors and shapes will remain the same because it retains the memory when the connection was made. It is retaining the memory when the connection was made. So this behavior remains the same. But now when I have unchecked the glue, and let us say if I make some new connections, let's say I make a connection here on the top, and I change the fill also so that you can identify. See here, I am adding a connector. It says snap to the connection point. Glue option is not there. Now, what is the behavior if it snaps to the connection point? This is the behavior of the shape. Can you see? This is how it has been connected. So this is basically the concept of layers, glue and snap. So number, visible, print, active, lock, snap, glue and color. These are your layer properties. And some shapes are automatically assigned to a layer. For example, insert. If we insert a call out here, let's say if I insert this call out to this shape, you can see in the home tab there will be a call out layer also. One on the call out layer. Sometimes your diagram may have some comments, but let us say you have to show this diagram to your client. If this is the case, and if you do not want to share those internal comments to him, you can basically immediately make the call out layer invisible. Uncheck this. Similarly for print, if you are making a print and if you do not want to share print, take the print out of the comments, make that invisible, the call out layer.